pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carter, here. Hewitt. Winslow.
Here.
Hoover. Here. Sadell.
Here.
Beaky. Here.
Just a quick update, we're going to add an item under items for introduction, which is letter A. Will be letter B. It'll be a art park presentation that Danielle is going to put on. With that, I need a motion to approve the agenda. So
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor signal by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. At this time, we are opening the floor to public statement regarding current agenda items only, limited to 3 minutes. Current agenda.
You talking about the Halloween thing?
Not this thing. Could you back up on that?
Yes.
Let's do that. Yeah. All right. At this time, we need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Don't move.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Unfinished business none. Moving on to new business, items for introductions and discussion. Discuss trick or treat date and hours. So, we got quite a bit of feedback after our last meeting.
I did not get any.
You did not get any.
Only public feedback. I received no emails, no phone calls, nothing.
So I think what, I think what we're gonna do is discuss if we want to change our vote.
Well, I think that's what he was asking about. Is that what you wanted to speak on, was Halloween?
Yes.
All right, anybody that has something to say about Halloween, raise your hand. All right, let's start with Andy, and then we'll go back and get around.
Okay, so 20 years ago, we
Name
did
and address, please, Andy.
Andrew Ryder, 437 Brady Street. Been there for 40 years. Same damn building. 20 years ago, we tried this. Turned into a fiasco for me. I had 2 trick-or-treat nights. Because I have grandchildren, nephews, whatever, out of town. It's going to be the same thing this year.
Yeah.
Okay? It does not help you for your school children not to have candy on a Tuesday night. All it does is cause me a pain in the ass. I'm going to put it real plain and simple. This is not the thing to do. I understand the direction and the intent, and I get it, but it's not going to stop it, because come Tuesday night, 90% of the people I want to see are still going to come trick-or-treat at my damn house. Okay? I don't know what else to say about it. I got nothing else to say about it, but I'm not in favor of having a trick-or-treat on the wrong night.
Thank you, Andy. Next.
When is the township?
Name and address, please.
Tammy Krantz, 424 South Line Street, village resident. When is township having their trick or treating?
Assuming the same as whatever we do.
Assuming
I've
the
not
same
been
date?
told anything else.
Because to me personally, I really don't care. But I don't think the 5 to 8 is efficient. I think that's a little extreme. It's been trick or treating the 31st, 6 to 8 for years. So, but the 5 to 8 is no. I can't keep up. I'm spending $100 on candy for township and everybody to come to my home in town. Maybe if the township would change theirs, then we could do a 28 or 31, or they could do something and everybody could go to the township. And they can start spending money. Yeah, $400 or $500. Kids come to the house and it's costing me money. And they still complain and bitch, not enough. So, personally, like I said, I don't care, but I think it should be only 6 to 8.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Stephen Hilliard, 527 West Liberty. I've got a couple houses actually, but that's the most current, I guess you'd say. So, my only issue with the trick-or-treating for the Halloween is one thing maybe people haven't thought of, I have a court order. So, I do week on, week off with my my daughter. This year, Halloween falls on my time, which is October 31st by the judge. I understand that I can go pick her up and take her anywhere I want, but I mean, my brothers come in town, we go all together, so I have all of nieces and nephews, and we all go trick-or-treating around this area. So I just want that to be a considerable factor on why I'm not okay with the 28th. I don't really care about the time or anything like that. It's just one thing to be considered is like my court order says the 31st. So like I couldn't take this to my significant other and go, well, they say it's the 28th when technically the judge says that it's the 31st. So I just want that to be a factor when you guys do vote on that. That this year on October 31st, I do have my daughter to go trick-or-treating around here. By the judge, and there is no changing that. That's all I just wanted to be clear.
That's a point I haven't heard.
Yes? I think we're over there. Yeah. Whoever's over there first.
Go ahead. Yes, I really wasn't going to speak. Shelley Rupal, English, 203 Grady Street. I also don't have a huge preference on where it falls. I think it was a very short notice. Possibly something that next year could be implemented. That Halloween is on whatever, third Sunday or whenever it is. I have a problem with. I listened to the minutes. And it said something like in conjunction with other communities. I haven't been able to, to me that's St. Charles, Montrose, New Lothrop. I haven't seen anyone changing that, so I think that was misrepresented. So for me, it's all about consistency. I love Halloween. I love sitting on my porch, handing out my candy or my pop with my daughter next door. I don't want to do it twice, and I also agree with the 3 hours. From what my experience with 7 children is, they're done after an hour and 15 minutes.
So are the adults.
And
Yes,
so
we are.
are
Yes, we
the
are.
adults. I think that I support your decision. It's not that I'm against the decision, but I think the timing is just, everyone's confused. And that's it.
Thank you. Next.
Eileen Dooley, 701 South Line Street in town. I'm just curious, first of all, out of the 2,441 residents of the village of Chesaning, how many requested that the date be changed?
I don't know. It was brought to the council by Kim.
Yeah.
But she's not here, she's not hiding, so everybody knows.
Yeah, right,
Kim's not
okay.
hiding.
I knew 3 weeks ago Kim wasn't gonna be here. We can get that out.
On Vine Street, traditionally, I get between 300 and 400 kids on Halloween night. Now, I'm on a pension, on Social Security. I can't afford to be buying candy for 2 nights. And you know darn well that the kids are gonna be out Saturday and Tuesday, because, good heavens, it's double the candy. Plus, every area of towns that I have talked to, St. Charles, Montrose, they're all doing it Halloween night. Nobody is doing it earlier. So that means that these kids that are out of town are going to be coming into Chesaning on Saturday. I can't afford to buy candy for 800 kids. I don't know anybody that can. So I think it's a very, very, very bad idea. And to change it, to let people know, that big old billboard that's down by the post office, you can all put down on that big sign, Halloween, October 31st. So everybody would know it. That's all.
Because a lot of people do not have Facebook.
Yeah, a lot of
And
people
that
are
was
not
the
on the
only
internet or
place it was
Facebook.
on, was
So,
Facebook.
Thank you.
Donna Evans, 720 South Line Street. It doesn't matter to me whether it's on Saturday or Tuesday, as long as it's one day. On Line Street, like they said, it's a minimum of 300. On a Saturday, it can be 700. So it's going to be a crowd on Saturday night. Also, the police patrol on Halloween trick-or-treating, are they going to patrol both Saturday and Tuesday? The kids are gonna be out there no matter what, and they're gonna be all over the place. They need somebody to give them direction. Okay. 'Cause I
They're
know,
always out checking candy and
okay, on both nights?
if that's the way we go, yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? Alright. Else? We also have it under items for action, so if we want to change it, we can do so there. Or do we have any more discussion on it?
I, at the very least, still stand by the fact that 2 hours is enough time. I'm still satisfied with the 5 to 8. I'm even willing to do from 5 to 7, but I still do not agree with the 5 to 8. I think 3 hours is far too much time. I agree with these lovely folks that it is expensive. Not very many people trick or treat in my neighborhood because my surrounding neighbors do not pass out candy. So if I pass out candy, I do not get a lot of foot traffic. However, Line Street is packed. As a mom with 3 young kids, I'm on it, and I know it's very, very busy.
Real quick.
Shelley would like to.
Shelley?
Real quick. And that was another point that I wanted to make is, the neighborhoods are set up, you know, like all of our porch lights are on. Like, there's nothing more, the kids pick the neighborhoods that have the most porch lights. So doing that double thing is they're gonna be all over the place. You know, like Shelley has her porch light on, and 7 houses down has their porch light on. And,
Right.
I think that's another confusing, complicated.
I do not want to see the divide of 2 nights.
I don't.
It needs to be one night and one night only. I don't like the idea that there will be a divide of some people will go to 28th, some people will go to 31st. I don't really know how to police that. I don't think we can police that. So ultimately, if removing the 28th and going back to the 31st is going to reduce the divide, I am in favor of going.
We had a business owner that lost money over the decision as well. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to recoup that income or not. So I found that out Wednesday morning, that that person was instantly losing money over that decision.
There was a few other things that are going on. I believe the fairgrounds is having a babies' night event on the 28th. That I think parents, yeah. Yeah.
It's still alive.
Yeah. Not on the thumb. I mean, I think the 31st was 6 to 8 on the 31st. I think is going to be the best decision to unite, as well as there's other events that were planned that we just another aspect that weren't necessarily 100% aware of. Yeah.
Right.
I agree with Danielle about the time, 5 to 7, because of the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is getting darker.
It will.
And that, so.
And I'm okay with 6 to 8 as well. I'm just saying, I think that 2 hours should be the norm versus 3 hours.
I'm worried about the 5 o'clock.
Well, for,
Yeah, if it's on the 31st, the 5 o'clock will work.
part of my initial yes vote was considering the fact that many parents do already leave work early on Halloween to be home for their kids. And there are many parents that work 2nd shift and 3rd shift. So my first idea was those parents will no longer have to take that day off on a Saturday to spend the time with their kids. However, I would have never considered a custody. I did consider the fact that many parents do weekend on, weekend off, and maybe parents that traditionally only have their children on the weekends would be able to take their child trick-or-treating versus the parents that primarily have custody during the week, but did not consider the parents for the week on and week off. that may be cutting into their parental time or allotted, with my ex, we did every other holiday. So I understand where you're coming from in that. But did consider parents that may have to take the day off for second shift. When I worked second shift, I would always have to take the day off from GM in order to take my child to work. So I thought Saturday was a beneficial day for that reason. But also understand the traditionalists that appreciate having it on things, or on Halloween, so on Thanksgiving.
Those get
Yeah.
That's maximum.
It's not like it's ever changed, it's been like this for
It
generations.
has. And I'm not against trying something new.
Parents got home and got their kids ready to go.
They did. And as a mom that works, so I do understand how
I never
stressful
did,
that
my
was
mother
too.
mothered in, we all did it, sure I did.
But the idea of possibly creating new memories or new traditions by having it on a weekend was also very appealing. There's been plenty of times that I've showed up at my family's house as the very last trick-or-treat spot, and they want you to stay, but you can't because you got to take the kids and get them ready for school. So I don't want anybody to think that I don't think anybody on this council just made a hesitant decision. I think everybody weighed the pros and cons, and everybody came up with what they thought was going to be beneficial and what they didn't. I saw a lot of nasty comments saying that we should be recalled. I'm going to tell you right now, like there was no negative intent by any of this, and I want everybody in the room to know that. And I, with Shelley, had just received a comment in my Quantum annual dinner about it may have worked if you had chosen to do it for next year, and there was enough time for people to grasp the idea and be able to prepare for it. So maybe in the future, if that is something that we decide to do, if we do change our decision tonight, maybe it could be planned far enough in ahead where people can get used to that idea. If that's something that the public would like to change.
I had somebody come at me on Facebook and said, why don't you just turn your lights off? That's not even a consideration.
No.
I would never, turn kids, to me, I'm turning kids away if I do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so it's like, no.
I double checked or I had Rod verify for me, I guess we'll go that route. Big Rock is going to be doing their Halloween costume parades. All on Tuesday is going to be their big day with the kids to celebrate. So then they get all pumped up at school and nowhere to go. I mean, and I think in part of 6 to 8, my 9-year-old, she likes the fact that she kind of gets to stay up what she thinks is a little late, and it's not pitch black, so it's a little dark and fun for her. And so 6 to 8 always seems to be a good time for the kids that just want to think that they're getting ahead of you. They think that they got something.
Besides all the candy they eat.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I kid you not, Lydia, she's staying up late now, and she's all geeked because she's outside and she's not at home. And so that 6 to 8 works well for her. At 9. 7 to 9, 6 to 9, that age group where she thinks that she's winning. Like you said, candy helps.
So, we know this is where it's going. So I'll make the motion to move Halloween to Halloween, 6 to 8.
Support. Yep.
Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So how much strife will this cause? Switching it back, that's the next question. Hopefully not.
I did receive a lot of phone calls, emails about changing the Halloween, like Danielle said. There was no intent to hurt anyone, to go trap on some other fundraisers around town. We didn't know about the fundraisers, and I would like to apologize for, hurting anybody, the traditionalists and all that, but like I said, I heard you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone here thinks that you guys had any ill intent.
No.
I just wanted to verify that there was none. We heard about it the day of the meeting, and I weighed pros and cons and came up with, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt to try. As long as it's not causing anybody harm, there isn't any major financial drive behind it, and I didn't think it would hurt to try.
Right.
Okay, do I have the floor?
You have the floor.
Okay, so there was some conversation. there was some conversation, in our Kiwanis group on Facebook, wondering about a bark park and if they would be able to, maybe put one in at Shoal Park. I, being a member of Kiwanis and also a member of the council, had a little bit of internal information on that and the fact that we already have 340 feet of chain link fence to create a bark park at Shoal Park. So Kiwanis is interested in helping to install the fence, up at Shoal Park. And I, as the chairperson of the Parks Committee, am asking for permission from the council to take on the Bark Park project, with the help of Kiwanis. I would like to invite Kiwanis to a Parks meeting where Parks will share with Kiwanis what has been decided this far for the Bark Park development. During the meeting, I hope to collaborate with Sean, myself, and Keith hope to collaborate with Kiwanis to develop a budget that may be needed for expenses associated with installing the already purchased fencing, as well as other expenses. Examples may be more dog waste receptacles. I don't know if we have any on standby in our barns or not. A watering station would need to go in for the dogs. Possible fence coverings. My thought was to cover the north side of the fence, since we do have a resident on the north side of the area where it would go. Any type of implements that we thought about adding to it. And let's see, I would also like to discuss what work the village would need to do to make the project successful. I would assume that the village would need to add the water line, maybe approaching sidewalks, and then we would bring all of our decisions back to the council in hopes of approval to move forward with the dog park.
Anybody have questions on that?
I do think there's already a water line there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
In that bathroom.
The one that's been destroyed on the inside?
That bathroom is trashed. The doors are still open to that bathroom. I was peeking around there yesterday morning. Not real happy to see that the doors were still open.
They probably got kicked out, would be my assumption, right?
Yeah, they are definitely in rough shape. But they're still open, which means there's probably wildlife in there at this point, because the raccoons in my neighborhood are crazy.
Tom, when
And
you
there's a
send
lot of
somebody out to secure that.
So, the green is for the fencing, right?
Okay, yes. So the green, that fencing right there, Rod, with the top of the paper facing north, you can see where the property line is, and then there is actually a fence that runs north and south. That structure is the bathroom. It was the Showboat bathrooms. It's the one that has been painted by Mrs. Beningo. We could use that existing fence and also use the north side existing fence, and then use the 340 feet of fence that we currently have to finish blocking off that L and turn it into a box. The dotted line is a proposed walk trail that has been discussed in other meetings through donations. That's a possible thing coming down the pipe. It's not there now, but with it entering off the entry sidewalk to the Showboat Park, it would be a nice walkway to get to the Bark Park. And then where you see that dotted line come through in between those two buildings, there's about 8 or 9 foot in between those two buildings. If both of those buildings were to remain, the one on the left is the bathroom, the other one I'm not sure what kind of shape it is.
It's our building, the Legion's building.
Sure, okay.
Wow, we use it for the
Gotcha.
park. Yeah.
There could be an entry that goes in there, or even between the Boy Scouts and also the Legion building, but there is a drain right there, so I don't know if that would be the best area to put the approach. But if we put it coming in between the bathroom and the Legion building, that kind of mimics where the sidewalk starts near those bathrooms. If you take that sidewalk to the south and then you take it to the east, that eventually leads you to the river trail that starts right there on the amphitheater. So I thought that that would make sense to be the entry point to get to the dog park off of that drive.
The only thing I ask you guys, please take that barbed wire down.
Yeah. I mean, these are all things that would be discussed during the parks meeting. And this would have to be ran through Kiwanis. We in the past have had a really great relationship with Kiwanis. The village was donated some property by the Shapleys that was next to the old building that got torn down. Kiwanis is who developed that into the community garden. They did a wonderful job. They're excellent to work with. We have donated half. We went half with the village to donate all of the fire rings in the park. during our beautification days, Kiwanis meets down at the park, and this year for beautification day, they painted something like 90 picnic tables down there. So we're very invested in the park. Much of our organization runs their events at the park with the fishing tournament and the Halloween camping. So I really think it could be a great partnership. We're pretty determined, and I think if I get approval to take this forward, the community can be really happy with what Kiwanis in the village can develop.
Where they had their construction site, you can make parking there, gravel parking.
I'm thinking that there's no reason to create new parking when we have all of the space near the amphitheater that's
Well, I'm thinking of somebody's handicap parking right there for the people with the dogs that want to get out there.
I don't know if gravel would be a great idea for a handicap area.
Well, we'll start, unless you got some of that stuff left over from the road grading, when we pick up the road.
These are all things that can be discussed. Obviously, we're not going to get it off the ground without several meetings and visits to the site and weighing all the pros and cons. Tom will have to be involved heavily. We'll probably have to get some approvals through lawyers to make sure that we're covering everything that we have to do. So none of this is set in stone. This was just a proposal I was bringing to the council. When we meet as a group, we're going to probably start over from ground zero and make decisions on, yes, we still think that's the best location, but we'll have some other people involved that maybe will have some better ideas. So those will all be things that will be considered when going through this project.
And if we can't do it all at first, we can always phase it in.
Yeah, that's what I figured too. It also opens up as part of it could be a fundraising event through Kiwanis too, to raise more money if our budget doesn't fit. I'm hoping with the camping fees that we've acquired for the last 2 years down there, on top of some of the rental fees for renting out the park, that we could create a small budget with the money and income coming in for the park, just to put directly back into the park.
So when the fence was purchased, what was the big, why didn't it go move forward back then? What was?
The fencing was purchased back in June of 21. It was a discussion that happened when we were working online. COVID, I think, somewhat got in the way. The organizers of the project, I think, based on the fact that the DPW, they thought that the DPW was going to install the fencing. I don't believe the DPW has had time to install the fencing. Nor do they have time or the capabilities to do it. So I think it just kind of got dropped and went by the wayside. But if Kiwanis is willing to pick it up as a community project, then I'm willing to work with them we're willing to work with them through parks, and I think it's a great opportunity and we should seize it so that we can get it up and in use versus, all of this fencing, $6,000 of the fencing sitting out at the DPW garage in the way.
We might get volunteers in the community.
Certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly.
Especially liquors like you do with community.
Yep. I figured between the village and Kiwanis will probably head the project with some help from funding through the village and approval through us. And then they will probably figure out how they want to move forward with installing the fencing. Again, it'll all come through meeting, and then it would have to be presented to the council before any of this goes through for a final.
That's a great idea.
So you want a motion to have you spearhead it then?
Parks, not me.
Oh, no,
I have two members of
I heard you. I heard you now.
You're gonna be out there with postal takers.
I will definitely help as a Kiwanian. I will be out there helping. I don't even have a dog, guys. I have cats. But I know what a benefit it would be to the community. I live at the park. I see all of the people that walk their dogs on a daily basis. Many people still run their dogs in the softball diamonds. The softball guys really, really dislike that. So I think that this could be great for everybody.
I make a motion to move forward with the park to the Kiwanis.
Support.
Thank you.
Motion has been made and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Can't wait to see it. I'm not holding hope that it's coming.
Columbus works pretty quick, but it's a matter of getting everybody together and making sure that we have everything covered before we start breaking ground. And that is true.
Why you look at me when you said deer season? I came back to the meeting from deer.
Alright, moving on to items for action, we've already taken care of letter A, so we will move on to request from Damian Bingham to post part of Chapman Street down on October 21st for the Chesky Cruise Night.
Damien's here.
We did this last
We
year.
did it last year.
Yeah, I did it last year.
I make a motion to approve Damian Bingham's, ask to close down Chapman Street for October 31st for the Chastain Cruise Night Trunk or Treat. I'm sorry, October 21st. I have no Bible on.
Yeah,
It's
anyway,
October.
the agenda says
He's at work right now.
It does October 21st.
At 4 o'clock, if you can start that night.
What's, I didn't hear.
Start setting them up.
Yeah, Damien's at work.
Oh,
Like he requested, he wanted to know if he could set it.
we'll put the barriers out, they just have to put them up.
Yeah, they'll put him up, he just wanted to know if he could do it at 4 o'clock.
We'll put them out probably Friday.
I'll let him know.
Yeah.
Thank you. We also have a note here to designate Tom Evan as the village street administrator.
Speaking of the
We didn't
street,
vote.
You didn't vote.
Oh, yeah, we did vote, right? Did anybody make a motion?
Yeah, it's been made and supported.
Motion been made and supported, all those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
What's that? What's
This
the
is
street
the
in
car
there?
cruise
the
program.
car cruise.
That was for the trunk or treat.
Yeah.
Chapman's.
Oh, this one.
They closed down Chapman like the, where the, yeah, the farmer's market is. So they can move from parking lot to parking lot, stay on one side of the street.
Next up, we have designate Tom Evan as village street administrator.
This is simply to sign paperwork when you're dealing with MDOT, they need a street administrator. There's no questions, there's no pay increase, it's just my ability to do more work. So,
You just got an 8% raise.
yep, when there's an issue with MDOT, they need a street administrator. If you just wanna make me the street administrator, I
So
can.
moved.
Or,
Motion been made and supported, all those in favor, signal by saying aye. Opposed? Carried. We are now also the street administrator.
we need to put it in front of it.
Look at me now. No, I'm not actually.
Next up, approve ARPA kayak launch project proposal.
We had to change part, we've done this before, but it got changed, the dates. They wanted all the money to be spent by next year in like October, at the latest, and we had it changed to, 2026. Not that we won't be done next year, hopefully be done next year, but just to have all the paperwork and money spent. I say October, that's when the last meeting is. The money was actually due to be spent much earlier than that. So they decided to change the contract to 2026, just in case. This is still not that we're absolutely doing it, I guess. We don't have the money yet, so until we have the money, I would say we don't have it yet. And this is also showing that the original intent was to put the kayak launch where the old showboat boat slip is by the post office. When we met with Eagle, it was the environmental people, the DEQ, or now called Eagle. They claim that that part of the river is now a natural part of the river, even though it's made of metal and wood. The river's reclaimed it, so we've selected another site in Cole Park above the rapids, that we will have a kayak. I guess it's not a launch, it's the pickup from Marshall.
So since they're saying that's natural river, when that collapses in the next couple of years, they're gonna take care of it, right?
It was our hope to get, to do something with it, and now it's, part of the river, so. I don't know how that works, but it is part of the river now, so. But anyways, so right across there, Cole Park, we have a little space, that's where we're hoping to put it. And that's what this proposal says. The total the county has given to us is, or projected to give us to us is $175,280 for this. And then the township was also, they're working on their own proposal, but they're hopefully gonna have to do a partial work too.
I make a motion to approve the ARPA kayak launch project proposal with the date change of 2026.
Support. Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports and discussion.
No meeting yet.
Finance and admin.
No meeting.
Public safety, no meeting. DDA,
Next week.
chamber, no, not yet. Planning commission.
I do believe I got an email today saying that we will have one on the 24th of this month.
Report.
Yeah, hang on. I know I wrote something down. A little important. Maybe I wrote something down. Got too much stuff in here. They had their meeting, basically going over things that have happened through the year and how much they actually made last year, which turned out to be very well, very good. They making their plans for next year's Dawn Patrol. They're waiting on baseball or softball tournament dates because they were been told by Tom Tito there might be tournaments. So the Dawn Patrol might not be. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. That's
I haven't heard anything.
So they're waiting on that. The Stoll event was good. The other thing they're working on is the thing called the Recreational Aviation Foundation. This group travels around the state working on small airports. They've been to Beaver Island. They were just up at the Two-Hearted River cleaning up a runway there. The guy that is in control of this area has asked the committee of the Sports Playing Association to make a presentation of things that our airport might need, small things. They're looking for maybe a pavilion, a couple other things that would entice more planes to make a stop in Chesaning and set it up. So if they stopped, it's because weekly right now planes come every Wednesday as an ice cream social and they go across the malt shop. But there's Frosties. But these enhancements would not come out of anything for the village. They would have been done by this group, and they would do all the work. So we could end up with nice enhancements to our small airport based on work that this group does. So they are working on that as we speak. That was the important thing. So there might be some upgrades in the next year or so to our little airport, which would entice people to stop in. That was it.
Fireboard?
I had 5 runs. Total to date is 152. Sunday and Monday we had a hazmat training. It went good. Was it Chief Brown from Tri? Caleb Brown. He's on the hazmat team for MLAC semiconductors. So he did a good job. Surprised that the crew from the roofing company finally came out. And the roof is just about done. They just got to finish one, probably about 1.5 feet on the south side. And then put up the east cross and all that. And then they should be done, but they cannot work Thursday or Friday because they requested a blood drive because they're short on blood. So we're having a blood drive Thursday and Friday out in the party station.
That's this week.
This week.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday. This is the time to check your smoke detectors and CO2 detectors. And the fire board meeting is next Wednesday on 11th at 6 o'clock.
Okay, go. Password? No meeting. Parks and Rec?
No meeting, soon to be.
All right, at this time, we'll open the floor, public statement, limited to 3 minutes. Terry Frankukas. Mike Navarre. Yasmin Wirtz.
I have a letter, Chris Mishler couldn't be here, she asked me to read this.
Sure.
Hello, in my absence, I have asked Yasmin to read this letter of recommendation for Tom Ebenho as Chesaning's village administrator. Tom has proven himself to be professional and competent. He has admitted to not knowing the answer to a question, but that he would find the answer. He has reestablished the zoning board of appeals. He has also remained active in Chesaning activities. Tom has taken classes in village administration, and I believe he wants to do his best for his hometown. Sincerely, Chris Mishler.
Jeannie Rapper.
Say only one thing. Say I had DET come knock at my door twice this week.
Who?
DET?
DTE.
See the solar power boys.
Mm-hmm. Did they
And
offer you
they want
$100?
access to the farm, they want to know what I think and all this stuff. Well, what's going on in the village? Is there anything going on? Because they said they wanted something for a solar park.
No.
We don't
Okay.
have the property.
You were getting scammed.
Well, they had their nice little shirts on and everything. So
Yeah.
DTE doesn't service up here, though. Did you tell them to politely?
I have
go
shared
back?
that.
I didn't. I wasn't so polite, and I had a rake in my hand.
There you go.
I was a villager.
Normally when companies do this or churches will do it, sometimes they'll ask permission. DTE has not asked any permission from the village.
Okay, so I just wondered what was going
I
on.
sent them down here when they knocked on my door, and
Oh,
they
so
did
that,
not come.
technically, they're violating our.
I told them that they were violating the
I
ordinance.
was told that, Lisa told me that she had gotten a phone call.
Did she?
And
Okay.
and she let me know that they were going around.
I
So that's why we didn't do, she said they weren't selling anything, so.
They just wanted input. I think
Yeah.
DTE is on the farm out there on the township park, right?
Yeah, working on township.
Yeah. They just want input on that, what we thought about that.
We'll go back down
The one
south.
out in Brady Township is Consumer Powers one,
Okay.
so.
As Matt knows, I was out in my garden, and I'm not kidding when I had a rake in my hand.
They were very nice. And
Yeah, they were pleasant.
That
Yeah.
definitely
And they were
helps.
receptive when I asked them if they had checked in with the office and gotten a permit.
What did they tell you?
I didn't feel like they were. I felt like they just were asking how I felt about solar, and just they did say there was a big park going in somewhere, and I said, "Oh, where?" And they said, "Oh, we have no idea." I'm like, yeah.
Hey, if they're saying it's in the village,
No.
There's no space.
there's no place to
No,
put it.
to me, I heard them say like in Vassar or what, like they literally had no idea. They were just getting input.
Alright, Tammy Krantz,
She left.
Stephen
Helios.
Helios,
Yeah, no, I'm good.
okay. Donna Evans,
I'm good.
Eileen,
I'm good.
okay.
I'm good.
I mean, we're good.
We're all good.
Oh, no, the name.
They knew where
It's the
it's at.
last
Yeah.
name.
They're in the right order. Alright, moving on, council member statement. Any council member wish to make a statement at this
Yeah,
time?
she did. She did.
Thank you to the fire department for the lovely letter that I received in the mail yesterday, thanking me for the cookies that I sent that way last month.
And I don't know what happened to your container.
Oh, the containers were just cardboard. I switched over to cardboard, so
Okay.
nobody has to worry about returning them to me now.
Promote your homemade festival this weekend?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear my name called. Yes, the 6th and the 7th, so I need to make an appointment with you, Chat.
Oh, yeah, I missed it.
You're on my list. We're super excited, we're ready. My feelings get hurt easy. I had some hurt feelings about, some residents talking about the parade route. Some people blamed the festival, some people blamed the administration.
I mean, I was gonna speak about it in my thing, but
Oh, okay.
it was nobody's fault.
I don't think
It's
it
just
was
the
anybody's
school
fault either.
and the concert was a lot of people, and they're worried
Right.
about organization in the park with the kids, because there's so many kids coming in at different times. St. Peter's has been very nice about letting us use the parking lot. It's not an issue, so do not worry about it. If anybody said anything bad, they have no idea what they're doing.
Right, it just, and I just heard this today, so,
You and I met.
you know, it was
I met
like,
at the school.
it was like you guys really thought it through and made the best decision, and we were willing to cooperate however we needed.
I knew homecoming was coming up that same day. I forgot there was a parade until somebody called me about it.
So we'll take the first weekend of
It's all
October
good.
next year.
The school's happy, and it all works.
Okay, thank you.
I've been asked about handicap parking along the boulevard for parallel parking.
Wait, boulevard? On the boulevard or like up by the business?
By the businesses.
Yeah, okay.
And I told the owners that it was an MDOT thing, but I was asked to speak out loud so in case Chesney would be able to help maybe get MDOT. If we supported it and figured out we could help push MDOT to maybe make it happen. Again,
Yeah.
that was my sentiments, but.
I also have
I mean, we
requested
could
that
try.
lines be parked
Yeah,
because
sure.
many people will take up 2 spaces. I've found it to be a chore when watering in the summer. And does not care.
Oh no, any time of day, parallel parking can be a very frustrating experience. But yeah, and then as I was looking at curbs, I was thinking ADA, but nonetheless, if there was a way to possibly get some parking, handicap parking along the boulevard by businesses throughout. Not
The
that it
DDA
can't be-
district.
Not that it can't be done, but I'm assuming MDOT looks at the amount of parking spots they think will fit in front of a building. And for every, I don't know the numbers, these numbers are made up, but for every 6, they put in, a handicap spot, and I'm sure they will stick to that. Because there are 2, I know one in front of Malt Shop, there's one, and there's another one.
Creative Passions, or the quilt, the quilt store has one. There is a few, but there is no lines. And sometimes what I witness when I'm up there on a daily basis is because of the lack of lines, people do not really pay attention to the signs. Mostly because when you have lines, handicap lines are blue, and regular parking lines are yellow. And I don't think they look up. A lot of them don't observe the no parking from here to the corner either.
Yeah.
So I think
our best bet will be on our side streets where we can control the parking. So even if it's the first one at the corner, as you turn, I think that's going to be our. Not that MDOT is impossible to work with because they're not, wink wink, but
wink wink.
No, and we can control our spot. Yep. No, and that was the message I said. Talk to them. Do what? I'm like, yeah, they own your street. They do what? I'm like, yeah, work with me. And like, I have no control over that street. But so they were just hoping that if we could help, and maybe put a bucket in the air or try to put a little push, maybe get just some more parking. We'll see what they say.
And maybe we can get that traffic.
Even if they can pick some lines by the sign, so
I was
it
just
was
gonna
a
ask,
rough
did
one.
they
line.
ever do the traffic study we asked for 3 years, 4
Yeah.
years ago?
They said they did.
The Great Corner
They
Road,
never
right,
told us
State
about
Road,
it.
and
They
that.
said they did it.
I never drove over and taken the kids to school, which is the whole point of doing it in the first place. All right, anybody else? All right, moving on to village staff reports. I see the chief is back.
I made it.
All right. We stalled for you.
Well, I thought it was smalling. I appreciate it. The department currently went through their yearly firearms qualifications, and for Taser, everyone passed. They're successful at that. I put out flyers. Tomorrow is National Coffee with a Cop Day, so we are participating in that. It'll be at the new coffee shop in town. We thought it would be good to give that to them as an opportunity to give back to them as a new business. So if anybody is available, it's from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And there will be officers there to welcome everyone.
You're buying the coffee, right?
Coffee and cinnamon rolls.
Ooh.
So yeah, that'd be fun.
How we meet.
Will there be puppies?
Yes.
Okay.
Drop the kids off.
Some stats for the month of September. We had 10 alarm calls, 1 felony arrest, 1 misdemeanor arrest. We assisted fire twice. We assisted medical 15 times. The same with Saginaw County Sheriff's Department. It was also 15 times we assisted them. We had 6 civil complaints, 4 disorderly persons, 2 domestic assaults, 2 family troubles, 2 neighbor troubles. The department performed 559 premise checks in the village. There was 4 suspicious situations, 4 suspicious vehicles, 3 traffic crashes, and 102 traffic stops with 16 citations issued. Any questions?
Are you seeing any reduction in the amount of people texting and playing on their phones while they're driving?
Yeah, it's starting. I think once you stop a few, especially kids, word spreads fast.
Of the worst drivers.
So, yeah, they don't need any more distraction.
Thanks, Chief. Tommy.
We're still, working on a sidewalk project. It's going well so far. I think the sidewalk work they've done looks great. Nick Everett, is doing a great job. So if you see Nick, I would say, way to go, pal. Everything looks really good. There's still some restoration work we need to go back to and do. And maybe some, in certain houses we've already done some grass seed. And, but other than that, it's going well. The homecoming parade, we talked about that. I met with the school, I met with Handmade. There's no beef or drama between anybody. They just thought it would be best if we split it up. St. Peter has been great, and said it was no problem to use the parking lot. So it's gonna go through St. Peter's Church, up Church Street to front, and then up front to the stoplight, and then it's the normal parade route from there. We've got the permits to shut the roads down, so that's all good. Plenty of police presence will be there for the parade, so it will be smooth sailing on that. There was an article in the Argus Press this weekend about the new dog in town, and I've gotten some questions on that. So a few months ago, we had an officer quit. He was a very good officer, Zach Ott. I was a big fan of him. Unfortunately, he left. We found Justin McGregor as the new police officer, and when he was an officer of the city of Saginaw, they gave him this dog. He was a canine officer, so the dog belongs to Justin McGregor. The village did not purchase another dog. As far as of today, we've not spent a cent on the dog, but there were concerns about paying for another animal. It is his animal. Now, it is on our insurance. It currently is costing us nothing when I added it to our insurance. If it's a big problem come March when we have our renewal, we'll have to discuss if, when it comes up, how much we want to spend on this. But this animal does not cost the village anything. It is different than Leo, who's our original dog. Leo is a working dog. He's not the most pleasant sometimes because he's here to work. Harvey is a very sweet dog. He's good for going through schools. He's a bomb sniffing dog. He can also, the kids can play with it, and they can take it to assisted living homes as well. So this dog is like a friendly mascot who also has bomb sniffing capabilities. So when we hired Justin, not only was he the best candidate we received, he also had this benefit of being a canine unit, and the kennel for his vehicle was donated to sit in the vehicle. So that was just a big concern. I'd gotten some phone calls that they were worried about how much we were spending on it. As of now, it's been nothing other than he's on our insurance, and our insurance has not gone up since we put him on there. So.
Well, yeah, on duty whenever Officer McGregor's on duty,
He's with him. Yeah, he's with him when he's on duty. Obviously, being Officer McGregor's dog, if he
doesn't feel good or whatever, he could stay home. The dog doesn't have to be on duty, but he's been with him as far as I know every day. So I don't know what he gets for sick time. The dog. No, so I thought it was a huge benefit when we hired him. Even though we'd already had Leo, this is the opposite of Leo. I feel
Personality wise, yeah, Leo can be a little intimidating.
And that's Leo's job.
He knows how to bark and shake that
Because in
truck
theory,
around.
we didn't hire Harvey.
We did not.
I mean, that's kind of the separation. We hired Justin, but not Harvey.
And as long as it costs us nothing, I'm all for leaving him on. If it, in the end, if there is a cost, we'll have to discuss if we want to pay it. But as of now, I just thought he was a benefit to the village.
Does he sniff out drugs too?
He is not a drug dog. Leo's the drug dog. Harvey is, like I said, he can be bonds.
Yeah.
That is a missing person.
It's a missing person, so if somebody wanders from,
It's a great asset.
yeah, so, and he's nice, so. And Officer McGregor's doing great too, so he's been a great addition to the village. And that's it.
Thank you. Next up is our work session marijuana ordinances. I have nothing for this evening. Does anyone else have anything?
I believe we're voting at the, you're voting at the next meeting, and, there'll be public hearing for those three, and then you're voting.
Motion adjourned.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported to adjourn. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Yep.